Welcome to Fargo Talks Fargo, a podcast on the FX television series Fargo. Fargo Talks Fargo is hosted by me, Bill, and my buddy Charpie. We like to get together and talk TV, except just this TV show. But we're originally from Fargo. That's a fun thing, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Home of the Hector International Airport.
Dang right. By the way, you know what, Charpie? Just so they all know, happy birthday to you the other day.
Oh, thank you. Yes, it was my birthday on Wednesday.
Terrible friend, I forgot. And I even had it in my calendar. So not only did I actually see it, because you get up, you look at your calendar every day, don't you?
I do.
What's the haps today? Well, it turns out I was too busy thinking about the thing on my calendar that said Jenny Project.
Uh-oh.
And instead completely blew off my friend Charpie's birthday. Happy birthday, buddy.
Thank you. September 30th for all you listeners. If you want to send me cheese curds,
it's not too late. You're kind of... It's too... You're just... I'm sorry about that, man. You for a minute, you thought it was us.
You know what? Hopefully Jenny's not sorry. And hopefully she got her project. I hope Jenny's happy.
I'm still working on it. It's a multi-day thing. It was one of those, you need to mark the day off so you don't take any meetings, so you can actually work that project for 2 full days.
Deep work.
Deep work, yeah. Lots of video editing. Boring kind, though. Not the cool kind. But, hey.
I hope Jenny doesn't listen to this podcast.
Jenny definitely does not listen to this podcast. But I like Jenny. Jenny doesn't even tell me it's exciting work. Hey, you know what? Let's clear up some fact-finding missions first.
Okay. I like that.
Ted Fujita. Fujita. Ted Fujita, and that's why it is called the Fujita scale, the F scale of tornadoes. And 5 is the highest. It goes from F0 to F5. And F5 tornadoes are 261 to 318 miles per hour.
Oh my God. I did not know it was that high.
So here's the Wikipedia entry. I was trying to find it, but yeah, so he was at the University of Chicago, and he did this in collaboration with Alan Pearson, the head of the National Severe Storms Forecast back in the day. Craziness, right?
Is the Fujita scale, it's not exponential, is it?
No, I don't think so. I think the top of the scale is just, it's got to be whatever the most recorded we've got is. I mean, we can't...
Is there an elusive F6?
We can't know the velocity of a tornado that we weren't around in or had the equipment, but I think some of it is based on photogrammetry, because we know the way items fling away from... And yeah, that's part of how they created it, but I did not actually remember to write down the PBS documentary I mentioned, but I know it was in there because there was an article in the local paper about it, that it was Fargo was as part of that series.
There's another documentary coming out that has to do with Fargo that's making the, I guess, virtual film festival cycles. The Dakota.
Really?
The Dakota... Wow, crap. I wasn't planning on talking about this, but...
Sorry.
It's the Dakota something tapes, the Dakota entrapment tapes or something.
Really? I have not heard about this, but I just try not to read the news because the news is sad.
Maybe I should just bear with me here, because I think people should know. I'm going to Google it.
Is this what our show is now? You and I just Google things?
We're just Googling things. Yes. 2020, the Dakota entrapment tapes.
Goodness.
And it is very much, I would say it's kind of in the Fargo universe, not literally, but also maybe perhaps in the universe of the storytelling.
Sure.
Because it's about, it's kind of in line with this season. It's about just shady law enforcement officers trying to basically... like Otis Weff in Fargo Season 4 trying to frame up some people.
Ooh.
For drugs and whatnot. Not murdering doctors or deans or whatever that guy is, but Dr. Harvard, is that his name?
Dr. Harvard.
Um,
I just go to the Mayo Clinic. I don't need any of that Harvard medicine.
Anyway, look it up, Dakota Entrapment Tapes. I think it'll probably be at the Fargo Film Festival this year.
Okay. Well, I don't know. Yeah, because they went all virtual. I kind of missed some of that stuff with all the old virus.
Yeah,
But,
poor film festivals. Man, do we love them. Hang in there, little fellas.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about Casey Moe, 1950.
Okay.
Do you know what my note was? This is exactly what I'm reading this word for word. This is some Shawshank shit right here. That's the kind of things I write down in my notes when I'm watching it again.
That's a Bill note?
Yeah. No, I write just in Apple Notes, but I mean, and I know it's a little bit of a throwback to Raising Arizona and everything, but every Prison Break for me, because of my age, is just Shawshank now. So we meet these two, right? We meet these two. We meet
Zelmare and Swanee.
Zelmare Roulette and Swanee Caps.
Classic Fargo names right there, especially with the double letters.
Yeah.
Both 5'7", both arrested for armed robbery, one for murder, one for accessory to murder. That's
Yes.
Swanee, the sidekick Swanee Caps. The younger of the two, born in 1927. I looked up the average height of people by birth year to see how they sized up.
Sure.
So Zelmare Roulette is 5'7". They're both 5'7", as we said.
Mm-hmm.
She's born in 1914. The average height of women born in 1914 is, can you guess?
5'7".
5'2".
Dang.
So they might be...
or who knows? Maybe this is just their actual height.
What do you mean?
I don't know. Maybe they're just listing the actual actor's height, and we're just like overly reading tea leaves.
Yeah, well, that's kind of what we do here on this show.
Welcome to Overreaction by Bill and Charpie.
If you're listening to a podcast that breaks down a TV show not once but twice per one episode, then you kind of know what to expect. We're gonna get into the tea leaves.
Yeah. Well, I'm missing all this. Like, it's somebody help us out if we're missing something here. We're missing the Camus and the Sisyphus and I'm trying to find those little nuggets in here, and I haven't yet. And I know that's maybe just too much for right now. But right now, all I hear is Roger Miller's "Can't Roller Skate in a Buffalo Herd," which, by the way, is super. It's what a super fun thing. And then Swanee has that relationship with the guy who wants to go for a ride, and she takes his kind of cowboy outfit. I thought that was fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. We're not seeing a lot. I mean, there's certainly some religious references and things like that, but it doesn't feel like it's laid on as thick as previous seasons. And maybe they are kind of easing up on that a little bit, which did give us kind of a lot to dig into, a lot of homework to do. But I'm sure we'll have our work cut out for us coming up here.
Yeah. So they break out. They go immediately to see Debrell. And
Debrell being Zelmare's sister.
It was interesting that she had a welcoming tone immediately, but the minute her husband was like, well, come on, come out of the doorway, and she was just like, you can't stay here.
Yeah, well, she's definitely trying to protect Ethelrida. She might also be, slightly embarrassed because her sister's been locked up for doing some no good stuff, and she's the good, responsible sister who's now
borrowing money from a crime syndicate.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, do you think it's she's trying to live on a higher level, or at least establish that she is? Mm-hmm. She's not like her sister, but it's interesting. She's overly protecting Ethelrida, but it makes me wonder. Well, does she know how worldly her daughter is? Do you know? You know what I mean? Do you think her parents don't know that she's like this kind of? I don't know if she's not a savant, but
no, I think they know.
She's just,
but they don't want her to get mixed up in the wrong crowds. I think it's as simple as that. No,
they see the goodness in her, and they want to keep that at an arm's length at all costs.
Yeah,
that makes sense to me.
Yeah. So we got Thurman and Debrell and Zelmare and Swanee sitting at the dinner table. While two are
and Zelmare is now the grammar coach.
Yep. And so we find out that the loan they're taking from some shady mobsters is 10% interest, and that's just in the first month.
First month. Ugh.
And I don't know if this is a loan to keep. I mean, obviously, like the house going, but it's the house is the business as well. Am I correct in that they're kind of like living in the?
That's the way. So this is really the way it was. Even growing up for me, like in my parents' hometown, the funeral home in town, like the guy was a family friend, and it was the front half of the house was like there was the one door that they lived in, and the back, and that's where you brought the dead in, and then the front side of the house was the funeral parlor. All as one. My siblings have memories of like playing in like the room where they like embalm people. Not when there was anyone in there, but
why wouldn't they?
I think it just made sense. In the end, we jumping forward, we did see that there's the other side of that coin. We go across, and then there's the big brick and mortar, like Catholic one. And they did separate into that too back in the day. Protestants, Catholics, people got married, they got buried in different cemeteries based on that.
Speaking of funeral homes and Fargo, did you know? Sure. Cosmo.
Yes,
Charlie Cosmo. Did you know him?
Yeah, I didn't know him personally because he's younger than me.
He's probably my age, actually.
Yes, and he was in What About Bob with Bill Murray.
Yes, and Hook. Charlie Cosmo played the kid in Hook, and he also played the sort of nerdy white kid in, 10 Things I Hate About You? Or Can't Hardly Wait or something?
I think.
One of those. I always conflate those two movies.
Yeah.
One's with Heath Ledger, though, right?
Yeah, that's 10 Things I Hate About You.
So it was the other one? Can't Hardly Wait?
I think, yes, it's Can't Hardly Wait. You're right.
Where he gets really drunk and sings or something.
Yeah.
That kid is from Fargo. And his family owns a funeral home.
We should have had him on.
Here we are, full circle. We should have had him on as an expert on families that lived in funeral homes.
Well, you and I both know
not acting, though.
The Cosmos did not live in there.
No, they didn't.
I will say this: Charlie Cosmo, the actor from Fargo, is wicked smart. You know where he went to school, don't you?
Why don't you enlighten us?
Well, I only know this because there's a couple kids that from Fargo around the same years that went. He went to MIT, and he's a lawyer. He went to Yale.
I actually didn't know that.
Yeah.
I did. I just want to see if you knew it.
Oh no, I remember people talking about it. They're like, "Did you know Charlie's going to MIT?"
So he went the actor then lawyer route to be the yang to James Falco.
Pretty much.
Who went the lawyer to actor route.
Yes.
Thank you.
So when we see that they're struggling for money, on this funeral home thing, because we can skip, because we eventually go from that. Let's just skip the drive-by. We saw it happened.
Wait, there was something interesting in that drive-by.
Okay.
And I could be reading into it a little bit too much, but so we talked in the hot dish about all the cigarettes that they were smoking, waiting to gun down the head honcho of this hospital. I wrote my note, if we're comparing show notes, was pile of butts. That's just my note.
Just pile of
whole scene is just how am I gonna remember to talk about this pile of butts? Maybe I'm just seeing shit or stuff, or
it's also the working title for Sir Mix-a-Lot's memoir.
Yeah, pile of butts.
Pile of butts.
That's good.
Thank you.
Right before they take off, they start moving the car. Something flies out of the hospital window or off the roof of the hospital. And I was wondering, is that a signal? Is somebody in the hospital signaling hey, that's the guy or something?
I didn't even pay attention. I should have looked. Was the guy that was triggering with the trigger man, was he?
Because I don't think he was there. He doesn't necessarily know who the doctor is, right?
Yeah, that's what you got me wondering about. except I just tried to, you can probably hear that music playing. I
And-
decided to fire up the episode, and I'm gonna look at this,
Yeah,
man. I
look
wanna
at it. Look at it. Because Fada's like drilling the henchman later, and he's like, "Well, did you get him? Did you get him?" And they're like, yeah." It's like they didn't even know who they're trying to get. So then I was wondering, like, is
It goes
that a
back
signal?
farther than that. When they are driving away, this is what I wrote by. He wrote, "Did you get him?" He goes, "I think," and he goes, "What do you mean you think?"
Yeah, because he got one of the guys. He got the guy like standing by the door. I mean, it did look like he
flicks
got
the
him.
butt. Okay, I'm watching. He's flicking the
There's
butt.
a white thing that flies like out of a window.
Whoa! I did see that. Hold on, I gotta back up. Or are we gonna just find out like a pigeon just ran into the
Right.
building?
I mean, it could be something like that.
Hold on, I got it. Oh,
Go frame by frame, see what it is.
I know what it is.
Oh no,
It's a little snow. A little snow fell off the roof.
that's it.
Yep, that's it. Sorry, bud.
What? There's
'Cause
snow.
I'm looking at the roof lines. Yeah, it's snow. I wonder if they just did the whole. They won't notice because I mean we know it's sort of cold because it's fall. Oh yeah, it's just a little snow.
Dang.
Snow.
I thought I was onto something.
I liked your plan better. You know what? We'll just cut this out. We'll just
No,
cut
you
this
gotta
part.
leave this in.
No, I mean this is how this stuff works now. You cut the facts out. Yeah, that guy in the back seat's not a good shot. He's terrible. He's terrible.
I guess that's the story of a pile of butts.
I thought also interesting. I mean, I know it was a device to just get Ethelrida across town, but so we go from funeral home, or at least we go from their home to this. It was the Kingdom of Mercy funeral home, and she goes to pick up formaldehyde, and I kept thinking to myself, this is one of those things, just like, shut up, Bill, it's just TV. But I'm like, how much formaldehyde is she picking up? And she's gonna take it back with her on the bus.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Is it just like a milk jug full, or how much, did they need? Or
How much formaldehyde is needed to embalm a body? Let's figure that out. And
If only we had a friend who was a funeral director. Oh wait, we do. We should. Why didn't we ask him all these questions?
we got to do that.
Upcoming episode. We'll you tell us what you want to know about it, and we'll ask all the horrible questions.
Yeah, send in your funeral director questions. Yeah, so I didn't catch that the funeral home was called Kingdom of Mercy. So we have the King of Tears and the Kingdom of Mercy.
Well, but it's like king, like the I just thought, I don't know. Here's what I was gonna say. This is what I think is getting further set up is that Oraetta hates that Ethelrida is smarter than her. Every time we see Oraetta, she's kind of got the clever quip. She's got the interesting stuff, and as we eventually find out later, she turns her firing into a 2-month severance. But every time she's talked to Ethelrida, she's like either corrected or shown that she doesn't know. Do you know what I mean? You're like a lucky penny or whatever, and she's like bad penny. And then she speaks French, and she's like, oh, she speaks French. Yes, she does. I think that's going to be part of something.
It's interesting how like all the major characters speak multiple languages in a part of the country that I don't feel that would be very true.
I don't know if that's true. In the 50s, maybe the stretch here is that there's an Italian gang in Kansas City. I don't know. We could think about this, Charpie.
But like the
Do you know how many
canons speak
Italian? Do you know how many
Italian.
Catholics used to know a ton of Latin just because they hadn't like switched the mass yet? Vatican II, bro. What year
Nobody
was
knows.
that? Vatican II was basically in the mid 60s.
Did they have subtitles?
No, I mean like even look at Gaetano. He's not even a first generation American citizen yet.
No.
So to me, if you got family that doesn't go back that far, and I mean it's very obvious that Donatello was only like first or second gen, doesn't surprise me.
It doesn't surprise you that the canons would speak Italian?
I don't know.
Ethelrida speaks French. Or
I don't know. You eventually
Mayflower.
when you're in cahoots with certain types of people,
Sure.
you tend to pick up a little bit of their stuff. They pick up a little bit of yours.
Yeah, I need to be in more cahoots.
It's the I don't know, maybe it's a little bit of the melting pot aspect of it.
Yeah, sure.
Also, I just think it's so normal. Like I wrote down the line where he goes, "This sfigado," he was mad that Harvard he wasn't sure if he was dead, and I had to look it up. A sfigado is a unlucky person or a loser.
I love the Jason Schwartzman mob character, but I just cannot buy it.
You're having a really hard time getting over the Wes Anderson aspect of his life.
Yes, exactly.
So,
but I like it.
I think you maybe were kind of right, and I think that's partly what's giving that shine to you, thinking he looks like he's going to break character. But I think that's because, I don't know, I feel like in many parts of this episode, Josto, although he may be the shorter man or the smaller man in so many instances, you know what I mean? Like, look how big Gaetano is compared to him.
Mm.
His moderately arranged marriage, he didn't have to like bend down to like put his head on her bosom practically. But yet, you know, after that awesome scene, I thought that was pretty cool. Not the best scene with Gaetano, but when he talks about Il Duce and you know, he's got the tin of teeth, and in the end, Josto just says a few words and pats him on the cheek. That's chutzpah, man. Don't you think? He's just like, I'm not gonna get moved by this. Good luck, you and Il Duce and the good murder of, you know, the good business of murder. I don't know. I do love the guy who's playing Gaetano.
Yeah, and that's what I just want to talk about is the way he kind of like moves about the room with his like Don Corleone sort of like big jawed kind of like like the way the words come out in this like snake like conniving or contriving, maybe I should say, cadence, I think is amazing. It doesn't really seem to fit like the stature of like the physical appearance of the guy, because he seems kind of like big and goofy, but then when he talks and the way he moves, I think his acting is incredible.
I think it's his eyes that eventually, like, all you see is just, he looks bananas, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Like when he's looking, like when his eyes get a little wider, I wouldn't want to fuck with that guy.
Yeah, he's got a craze that goes really like beyond his corneas.
From an interesting character standpoint, I think he has some of the most interesting stuff this episode, because think of it this way. He's brute force with a little bit of crazy and maybe a tiny bit of swagger, but I mean, if you think about it, he gets into a face-to-face thing with his brother. He gets into a face-to-face thing with Loy when he goes to see Satchel. He gets in a face-to-face thing with Governor, like, and he's unflinching in every one of those positions. And I feel like in Coen world, as much as we're like, gotta respect that, he's gonna get somewhere sometime. He's got to get some comeuppance from that, or some just horrible. You know, he's gonna go face down in an ice hole.
He'll be around a while though.
I hope so. I do. I do want to give a shout out to a piece of music though that we missed that came right after that. The Funky Dogs Brass Band #1. Look it up. It's a fun song.
I just added it to my library.
Yeah,
they've been they appeared a couple times in this episode and the first episode. When Gaetano and Josto are talking outside that funeral home, did you notice the yellow stop sign on the corner? Props to the prop master who has a
firm grasp of history.
Yeah, a beautiful stop sign from the actual era, from 1924 to 1954. Stop signs were black text on a white background inside of a gold octagon shape. So it was like black text on a white plate in the middle of a yellow goldish stop sign. So that was pretty cool. So that ended in 1954 when it switched to the white text on a red octagon. So that's pretty cool.
We've had connections to some of the people who worked on the show when it was up in Canada. I reached out, and because a lot of this was shot in the States this year.
Oh, sure.
I'd have to look at the email. I want to say a lot of it was shot around Chicago, actually, is where they did it.
Okay.
Chicago's got that same kind of Midwest brick city feel, you know. But you're right. That was pretty cool. I'm still overly fascinated by the color of cars.
Yeah.
I know who's going to be in the scene based on the cars that are there and what's happening. And now we've got a blue Ford and a blue Caddy issue, though. Loy drives a blue Caddy, and the dinguses who shot the lady instead of the Dr. Harvard were in a blue Ford.
Oh, they were also in blue?
They were driving a blue Ford. Those guys were. Use guys. But what did you make of the, if we're going to come back to, I'll come back to the Gaetono, and what a great scene between he and Chris Rock as Loy, but I feel like we're definitely on to something with Rabbi and his situation, and that and Zero and Satchel.
Yeah, when Loy says they've got a lion in a cage wearing a groove, is that Rabbi? Who are they talking about?
I don't know yet. I did not make those connections yet because I wasn't thinking that, because that scene comes later.
Yep, it does.
But now you got me. Well, I don't know. I still think Doctor wins that one when he says, or it's the one on the wall that's got a forced smile. It's put on display with a stupid smile on its face.
Yeah, I just Rabbi immediately popped into my mind when he said that. Because Rabbi does feel like he's a lion in a cage because he's living with he's on that other family's side now, and he's clearly got some issues. He's got something pent up inside of him, and he's on the good side of, somewhat. He's somewhat of a good liaison, I guess, between Fada's, the Italian mob, and Cannon.
Well, do you get the feeling that he's not so much a good liaison between them and more that he's a liaison for the boy?
Yeah, sure.
For Satchel.
Yeah, definitely.
Did you notice what he said to the kid though? When they were going up to the house, he gave him that whole, I'm not your father. And then he literally, instead of just like all, those other scenes where the guys just push their child forward into the middle of the room, Loy gets down and he has that whole conversation. I'm not your father. He's like, do they respect you? Do they look at you? Do they get on your level? And that's when he says, capiche, and the kid says, capisco. And I thought, interesting. And then the whole Gaetano thing happens. But think coming to Rabbi, and then all of a sudden when the boy's there, and it's literally Rabbi, and then standing directly in front of him, almost like they're like Russian dolled, is Satchel and Rabbi, and then Loy basically waves. He says, "Come here," talking to the kid, but they both go immediately.
I did not catch that.
Watch it, yeah. So that's the spot I caught because I thought, so clearly he's summoned, and then they have their whole conversation where he says, and we find out they're roommates. He and Satchel are roommates on the 3rd floor. And he says, he's entirely in my keeping, meaning I've got this. Yet the other kid is like, they give me peanut butter sandwiches sometimes, and then if we fast forward, since you're skipping ahead, I'm going to, when we get to the very end, when they're almost to the very end, where Loy is praying at the table with the family, Zero is at the table holding hands with the family praying, but is also happens to be the only one wearing a paper Thanksgiving Native American headdress type of thing, turkey. But so that's got to have something to it. But so he's at the table, and when they cut away to that scene where Gaetano is at the head of his table, which he thinks is his, and Justo walks in, and we cut away for 1 second, and Justo's gone. He's in another chair. Or Gaetano's gone, and Justo's in the chair. And then they pan up, and on the 3rd floor, alone, eating sandwiches, are Rabbi and Satchel. So yes, you might be onto something with that. They're trapped animals, but they also have a loyalty of some sort. I think they will, and even Zero might. That's the show, right?
Mm-hmm.
What do you make? So if we back up just a teeny bit, what do you make of the Apex Vending Machine Co? Like, obviously there's pony bets going on, and
yep.
Did you look at the wall in the background? I was trying to figure out what the chalkboards were all about, but
Yeah, I was.
I'm not.
was
I don't play the
Googling-
ponies.
I don't either. So I was googling all those like acronyms and stuff, and I mean, I probably could have spent a little bit more time on it, but I didn't find much of substance.
I zoomed in on my screen, and then I thought maybe Matt will figure this out. Sharpie will figure this out. Clearly,
Then
you
I
can't
went.
depend on
Then I went into researching the business of cigarette vending machines in the 1950s, and I just don't know if that's worth talking about.
If we're gonna talk Mad Men, though, did you notice that Dr. Governor was drinking out of a roly poly,
I didn't.
which is a very
Dr.
famous
Senator.
glass that Don Draper was also drinking out of a set of glasses called roly polies.
I didn't think I knew that was a thing.
Mid-century modern, yeah.
So, Doctor, you're screwing me up now. Dr. Senator, not
God.
Dr. Governor.
Do I keep saying Dr. Governor?
Yeah.
God damn it.
Maybe that's his middle name, Dr. Governor Senator.
Son of a bitch. I'm gonna make a post-it note and just put it in front of me. This is my season 1.
Stavros, Milos, Stavros.
It's Stavros Milos, but anyway, sorry. Go ahead. You were saying
I don't know. They were chit-chatting about Dr. Governor Senator and
Dr.
Loy.
Senator. We're gonna get this right. This ends here. Dr.
We
Senator.
don't know. They're chit-chatting about the whole credit card thing, and Dr. Senator mentions that he doesn't even think he could try clothes on at Gimbals. That obviously being like a racial inequality thing. But Gimbals was a department store that was around for like 100 years, and I'm not too familiar with them. We didn't have them in Fargo. They were.
Well, we told everybody we had Herbst.
Herbst, yep. But I was wondering if you had heard of them, or knew of Gimbals prior to this, or had any experience with Gimbals. They were around till like 1987, so you're old enough. But what I found interesting about Gimbals,
I know about it because it's a very famous store from New York. I mean, and I think were some of the people that did the Thanksgiving Day something or other.
Oh, interesting. But they had like 4 major branches, and like Pennsylvania was one, New York was one, maybe Chicago was one, or Wisconsin or Michigan or something. I don't know. I don't really know that much about them. I'm not an expert on that because I'm from Fargo. But what I do know about Gimbals is, which I found interesting, was they all had their own charge cards, every like location, and you couldn't use the same charge card at other Gimbals locations. It had to be specific to that like region. So I thought that was kind of interesting since they're trying to get into the business of charge cards.
Yeah.
Or invent them, I guess.
Well, yeah, I mean, and I think that's the conversation they were having, was that they have all these ideas, but the way that the system is set up, it's rigged against them, and so and I think that's the Loy's issue, is that he wants to make more money, he wants to do these things, and he can't because specifically because Dr. Senator can't even go into Gimbals, but yeah. Gimbals also reminds me, if we're just we're making Mad Men references, that's and Gimbals was, the people, the family who started Gimbals were Jewish immigrants, if I remember correctly, and I feel like that was, unless it was real, and I just don't remember, what's her name? Rachel Menkins was the store in Mad Men, which she was the kind of the woman, Don Draper kind of just had this thing for, and things got kind of weird. But I always thought Menkins was kind of I don't know, maybe I should look that up. Was Menkins a real store? I thought it was a throwback to Gimbals, is what I thought.
Oh, you did?
Well, I thought it was one of those, like, they didn't want to use a real brand name, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Menkins existed. Anyway, we're way off base here, but yeah, I mean, these are these TV worlds that they play into realities that are here, and I mean, the reality of what Dr. Senator said is pretty real. But I think you're right, as you've already talked about, that the real conversation there was the statements about the lions,
Hmm.
and also just the comment that the tigers are doing this. Like, it was a little bit of talking about a different language and animal. I don't know where it's gonna go. I know it's gonna go somewhere, but let's talk. We can go quickly about Desi
Yes, that's what
and the
I just
alderman.
wanted to get into.
Okay, fire away, man.
I just wanted to bring that up because I was a little bit, surprised to see that Josto had a fiance and was totally not expecting that. Totally not expecting to be thrown into a room with a fiance and her father. And this is clearly an arrangement for business purposes for both Josto and Milvin Gillis. I don't know if Desi's aware, and I don't really know what is about to go down. But Milvin's obviously looking for votes. Josto's obviously looking probably for favors if he can get Milvin in office or something.
Well, that's what I was wondering was like, what favor is he trying? What does he want?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if you.
I don't think we know yet.
Is that just we have to continually remember that politicians, many of them are crooks. That's the end of that comment string. I do also just love the shift of attitude though. The oh hi, and then that's when we get that line from the thing about pumping babies into her and twice on Sunday.
Go fuck a state park.
But I think that's just another one of those things where you're like, Josto's actual posture is not the same as his forward not physical posture. His bravado. Yeah.
Bravadi?
Bravado. I don't know. I just I'm gonna I'll watch that one. I don't know if it has to be a major storyline.
Yeah.
But there's got to be something there because I immediately was like, well, God, of course he's got to have some like Italian like wife kind of set up or someone he's marrying, but instead it's this kind of more Midwestern.
Mm-hmm. The Gillises.
Yeah. Wait, what was their last name?
Gillis.
Gillis?
Yep, Gillis. Milvin Gillis and Desi Gillis.
Milvin.
Yeah, not Melvin. Milvin.
I wonder why the mother wasn't there. Just too much casting, do you think? Not needed?
She's dead.
Like, oh, geez.
Yep.
Okay.
I'm sorry for you to find out like this.
I did think this was also the line I wrote down that Desi said, though, was I thought it was interesting, that she called him a boy losing his father. He's a grown man, a boy. And then, talk to you later, honey bear. And all I wrote after that was, what is this? What is this relationship? And shortly after that's when we got the
kisses.
Well, but just all right, cut the shit,
Yeah.
What is it? Slow pump babies into your daughter, and then he immediately goes, try the calzone. He goes, they're a riot. Yeah. That's what he said.
Where do you get a great calzone in or near Fargo, North Dakota?
Last time I had a calzone anywhere near here, there was a place up by the Guard up by Grand Forks. We have a Air Force base up there, and I don't remember the name of it, but they had great
Silver
that was the
Moon?
First place,
something like that.
The Silver Moon. I thought that was the one. I thought that was the one in Grand Forks.
Oh yeah,
I'm talking like this is out in like Amaretto, North Dakota, or something like that.
Oh.
Anyway, first place, and it was one of those only had business because the base was there, because the only other thing close to there, outside of driving 15 miles into Grand Forks, was like the Subway. There was a Domino's that was just out in the middle, like a bumfuck nowhere, because all they did was deliver pizza at the base. But that is the first and only place I've ever eaten a calzone in my life.
Yeah,
I've eaten there more than once.
Calzones are pretty rare in Fargo. Like we're talking about the two places we're talking about are different places, and they're both at least an hour from Fargo.
I feel like you're slowly working your way into some sort of Parks and Rec scene. Or you don't know about this?
No, I don't.
You don't know about Ben Wyatt? He's like got this thing about calzones on Parks and Rec. It's pretty good. I thought you were trying to bait me into some sort of
I wish I was
sort
though.
of Ben Wyatt thing. The only other random comment I wrote down around that period of the show was, right? He says to him, "Go fuck a state park."
Yeah.
What does that even mean? He says, "You'll get your votes, you'll get your boosterella," which is a bribe. And I'm like, but I was like, well, who's bribing who?
Right.
Like, so what's in it? What's in it? We're still back to what's in it for Josto or Josto. Is it Josto or Josto? Josto.
I don't
What's
know.
in it for
I say
Josto? What's in it for Josto if he's bribing the guy who's not actually a political mogul yet? You know what I mean? Is this the like they're not a big enough crime family to reach the mayor yet, so they just got to start with like aldermen, or you know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know, man. We just don't know.
We don't know much.
But that'll be fun. A little politics at play.
And then obviously we had the reveal that Otis was,
right.
boss. But I didn't catch for sure, and I thought it was funny, and I laughed. Like when he was doing the knock, people can't hear that. The knock on the door. The other guy was like, he just opened it, I think, because he wanted him to stop.
because he wanted to stop. And that's how we know it works. You
can
can stop it.
He's just like, oh, he's like, nope.
You know,
not gonna let that shit carry on.
I love it though. Like, so we're coming hot off the go fuck a state park line, and then Josto's like, you know who, you twitchy piece of shit. Who?
Oh.
You know who, you twitchy piece of shit.
See, but so here's the question though. So we're talking about we're talking about Jason Schwartzman again a little bit again. I mean, he needs to, those are the lines. He's kind of made for those lines, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, totally, absolutely, of course. I mean,
like
100%.
I'm two episodes in, and I don't think I would want anyone else to play that character. Ooh, but fun game. At Fargo Talks Fargo, tweet us or email us at podcast@FargoTalksFargo. Who else could have maybe played that way? I mean, like
Jack Black.
Too round.
I think the roundness is perfect.
No, but Jack Black doesn't say things like "you twitchy piece of shit." He's
okay. Samuel L. Jackson.
He would make an AC. He'd make an ACD. Oh, Samuel L. Jackson would definitely say "you twitchy piece of shit."
Okay.
Okay. Let's talk about how much do we? I'm thinking. You tell me. Should we gloss over the whole? We get to see Oraetta, and we get to basically see her get busted and lose her job, which frustrates her. So now she's
trying to kill a guy named Cosmopolis in case
Mr. Cosmopolis, and he's Greek.
Yep. So
and then I thought, does she just like killing people from that region? Italy, Greece. Is that a thing for her?
She's going after the Greek mob now.
But I did like her. I like the one thing I liked about her big speech, outside of I feel like that guy caved pretty fast, but was that she said she's not a goat, and it's America, not Soviet Russia. Pretty good stuff there.
Yeah. Yeah, she's being her usual quick self. I liked how the I don't know, her employer guy, whatever his role is officially, obviously they framed up his head perfectly to have that sort of like halo around it,
glow
that like
in the
red
room.
glow. And I thought it was interesting how his head like perfectly covered that window that had that red glow coming out of it, so it looked like a halo. But then later on, towards the end of that scene, you can see what's actually behind there, and it's a picture of Jesus' face that was behind his head.
I didn't catch that part.
Yeah, it was a stained glass of Jesus, but you couldn't see Jesus' face from Orietta's standpoint.
What do you make of after that? She, the first thing she does is she goes home and enlightens Ethelrida about Sagittarius and the scene I'm talking. What did you make of that? I mean, because that's another place I think she just gets so flummoxed by her because she knew, and then she offers her a demeaning job.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry,
and
I
made
shouldn't say
her
that's a
a
demeaning job. I just
project.
meant it's, people who clean homes are fine people. I just mean at the time, she's like that, she's like, I'm intelligent. You want me to come clean your house up for 50 cents and so I can play your long records?
Yeah, Orietta's trying to lower her status. Not Orietta's status, but Ethelrida's status.
You suppose it's because she's coming off a high where she's sort of lost but won?
Yeah. I think she did think of it as a win. Um, is there any significance behind Ethelrida's birthday being December 1st?
I don't know. I didn't look
That's
that.
not
I
like
didn't get that number driven yet.
the true birthday of Jesus or something?
After season 1 where I was like writing down license plate numbers too much, I just gave up.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not true. I actually wrote down the address. It says address was 183.
Yeah.
That's not okay.
That is pretty prominent, though, so I was wondering about that myself.
Yeah. It's
we'll
it's
get back to you later on that one.
yeah. I want to know where that's going to go. Well, I mean, obviously we're going to find out where something's going to go. She wants to make her a pet project, and well, when I signed on with you, Charpie, you were humming "Accentuate the Positive."
Mm-hmm. You got to accentuate the positive. I did that wrong.
You did, but it's okay.
What
You've
we
never
hear from
really
you?
been a music career kind of guy.
That is a very true fact. I'm not a musical person.
How did you take that nice? Did you catch the throwback to "No Country for Old Men"?
Nope. What?
The slaughterhouse after that, the next scene that came after this, they eventually.
Oh, sure, yeah. With the air rifle.
Yeah, I don't know what I made of. They've been in there the whole time, and then Gaetono's people show up, and then the noise of that bolt gun starts making half of them jumpy.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was partially to just help prop up Dr. Senator, his just unwavering coolness, but that's because I'm still sticking to the fact that the guy's a fucking boss.
He's a boss. Is there any significance to the can of olives?
I thought it was just a remnant from the Italian dudes.
Okay.
Bunch of olive-eating jerks.
I was trying to think of that. Was there any, in Raising Arizona, are they, snacking on cans of olives or anything like that?
I don't know.
I love a can of black olives.
I also, that's the other thing is I love that they're giving, he's got so much, I like a lot of the stuff that the characters, Dr. Senator and Loy Cannon, are bringing forth, this not just brute force gangster. They're calculated, they're well read, they're, you know what I mean? And it's, and on the flip side, you just got a bunch of goofy kind of Jersey Shore Beach Italians in Kansas City.
It's a good move to say that, because we know Loy and Fada had a meeting, Donatella Fada had a meeting. We know that while they were eating their nut meat, and nobody knows.
He didn't want to let them take the stockyard, so I don't think. But they, hey,
nobody knows what really went down there. So the Cannon crew could easily say, "Yeah, he said we've got the stockyards," and nobody can really dispute it. I don't think they're going to get away with it, but it's a good, interesting move, and Gaetono even recognizes that because he's just like, that's a good move. We'll see about this.
I got a random catch as before we go into wrapping up here, just because we're almost to the end of the ep. But what the hell did Swanee steal from the table and put in her boot? Did you catch that? I played it back twice, and I still can't tell what it is.
I played it back a couple times too, and it just I don't know. I just kind of assumed some sort of silverware, a knife or something like that. But it was very the shot wasn't great. There wasn't a clean catch of it.
Bummer. I was hoping maybe you caught it.
I tried. Nope.
Yeah. Boy.
So when Oraetta Mayflower's making her ipecac syrup apple pie, So she's obviously, placing an attack on Ethelrida and family. Did you notice that as the camera's panning over to the bottle of the ipecac syrup, there's like a bunch of shakers on the table, like spice shakers and salt shakers and stuff like that, and they're all shaped like grenades and bombs and stuff.
What? I gotta look that up now. I want to see that. I mean, I always note these things just partially because I like good costuming, good set dressing, good prop masters they really make these things. There's so many things that go into these shows that I think they're often unsung heroes. There was a great, I think we retweeted it, a really great, like, the color palettes of Fargo are just constantly amazing. Like, I think they're like Wes Anderson level awesome. And boy, I would love to have a conversation with Dana Gonzalez, who was I think he was the cinematographer for the whole season. Okay, now I'm looking at that. Yeah, that is a little grenadey.
Yeah, but then look at the other ones next to that even. They're like bombs.
They look like missiles.
Yeah. So it's like Orietta's like got an arsenal and she's ready to just drop it and wreak havoc across all the syndicates.
And that shape of bottle, some people always refer to those, when you have beer in those are grenades too. That's interesting. I did not catch that. That's a solid catch. That's at about 48.16 if you've paid for the show. I don't know enough. I remember hearing about Ipecac when I was younger, about, because my mother was a nurse, and they've discontinued its use. I mean, they used to give it to you if you drank poison.
Yeah.
And they needed to make you vomit. But at high doses, it itself is poison. You know what I mean? It's like one of those.
Here, drink this poison.
Get the poison.
To get the poison out.
And then eventually somebody's like, if you've swallowed something horrible, maybe we shouldn't put your body through some of the trauma of like pushing it backwards up through your mouth, And they're like, whoever came up with that whole activated charcoal thing and then just like pumping your stomach after that was like pretty primo idea.
Activated charcoal, man, works wonders. Not just for that, just for all kinds of stuff.
It's in my furnace filter, dude.
Yeah. Water filters. It's great at getting rid of some stank in a fridge. If you got an old fridge lying around.
What? Is that what you keep the bodies in?
Yeah, like that's what what's his name should have used. Fat Damon. Jesse Plemons, man. He's in something I can't remember what that's coming up that I've heard some good stuff about. I did see the advertisement for it. It does look great.
Well, here's the deal. He was awesome in Breaking Bad. He was fantastic. I think I loved Friday Night Lights, the TV series.
Yep, many people do.
Yeah. Oh, I'm thinking of Ending Things. That's the one he's in. Yeah. So here's the deal. The unspoken thing is, what do you make of Timothy Olyphant showing up at the very end, gets out of the car? Do you think there's any connection to that was the person standing in the street at the last episode, or this just happens to be somebody else? There's all sorts of people looking in on all sorts of people. You've got what's her face, Oraetta, creepily staring out the window from across the street at her neighbor. You got Zelmare in the window looking out when she's like, what did she say about her? She's like, that is a weird white woman, or something like that. You got the person in the street, or was it an apparition or Slender Man? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if so Timothy Olyphant's character his name's what?
They haven't properly introduced it. I mean, I know it's in the credit,
it's like
on
Dick
IMDb if you go there, but
or something. Deffy.
Right now, it's basically just lawman, and I'm trying to do the math on. We know that Otis said he'll get a Patsy.
Yeah, Patsy.
I'm just trying to do the whole. How is he patsying? How is he going to patsy this? Do they know that the fugitives are in the house?
Yeah,
or are they...
I don't think. I mean, you could easily think that the lawman was the guy in the street from the episode previous, but he would. I don't know why.
But look at him. He's wearing like this bulky coat and this
Yeah,
hat.
I don't see why he would be there. I think he's there in episode 2 because of the fugitives. I don't think he's necessarily watching anybody else. He's there for the fugitives. And I think that he probably just saved the whole family from eating vomit pie.
Or do you think?
They're going to go back to that?
Do you think there's going to be a massive
pie.
misunderstanding? And I mean, here's the only other thing. I don't want to go overly political because maybe it wasn't that, but I mean, the way he kicked open the door, it was very no-knock warrant.
Yeah.
Breonna Taylor, and I'm wondering. Yeah, I'm sitting there going, are they going to come in the house and realize there's nothing there and they can't prove anything, and
they're going to have a little chit chat over some pie,
and they're going to give them the pie. I mean,
that is totally going to happen. That's a good prediction.
Somebody's going to have to eat that pie, and I know it's not going to be Ethelrida. I mean, the only thing I thought that would be tragic would be like her father eats it because he's just this kind, gentle person, and would eat pie he would eat a pie he found on his doorstep.
He would, but I think you're right. I think Ethelrida's smart enough. She had that weird interaction with Oraetta. She knows not to eat the pie. She brought up the pie. She's going to see that pie. She's going to know it's from Oraetta, and she's going to be like, yeah, I don't think so. I
ain't eating that wacky bitch's pie. She takes tiny steps.
Yeah, but these assholes that just kicked in my door, maybe they'd like a little piece of pie, and let's just see how that plays out.
Hey, lawman, want some pie?
And then it's going to be everybody's going to be whipping up a bunch of omelets.
I hope it's not. I hope they need to at least keep Timothy Oliphant a little bit for me. Just a little bit. He's a fave of mine. He's a favorite of mine.
You do have like a giant poster of him in your bedroom.
Oh, why wouldn't I? He's so. I've probably said this before. He's so good when he's on Conan O'Brien because they're friends and he just gives Conan a lot of shit. Well, I don't know. We should wrap it up. I mean, usually we do like a who dead thing or this, but I just don't even know.
No, I don't think we have to do that. I think
I thought of one thing I forgot to mention.
Oh, no.
There was... where did I write it? I had a... Oh, it was this last scene that we're getting like all these like as Thurman's picking up the pie and the lawman's like whatever. There's this light drumming happening, and it was very Numbers and Wrenchy, though.
Yeah, it was. Yep.
So, way to go, Jeff. Maybe if that wasn't his intention, but it was nice, Jeff Russo.
Yeah, he's just like, I just need to reuse some tracks.
God, well, but it was different. It was different. Well, I think let's call that a show, and I mean we're gonna be doing this again. In a matter of days.
Yeah.
All right, I think we've discussed this. We're hoping, in the past we were kind of spreading it out, trying to have a couple days between watching the show and then releasing the full episode. We might go back the other way just for the sake of keeping our weeks more focused on work. So we're going to attempt again. And if it doesn't work, we'll shift it, you guys. It's only another day. But, right, we're going to do a hot dish on Sunday night. Which basically it's a Monday morning episode for most people, and then we'll record Monday night, so most of y'all have it Tuesday.
Yep.
Fair enough.
That's
and
fair.
sorry about the wacky. If some of you downloaded the show early and noticed that Charpie was only in your right ear, that was Bill not clicking a right button or not paying attention enough because it was like 2:30 in the morning. Sorry.
Stop apologizing.
Sorry. Hey, good talk, man.
Yeah, that was a good one.
That's good talk.
I'm looking forward to episode 3.
You gonna go eat any more? You gonna eat any more of that scalloped potatoes?
I want to so bad, but now I get to have it for a third day in a row tomorrow.
Didn't get my mother-in-law didn't give us enough. Didn't give us enough. It's gone. I'm gonna go make a Totino's party pizza, maybe.
Oh, yeah, that sounds good too. Actually, tomorrow I'm having a good old classic Midwestern Red Baron frozen pizza.
Here we'll finish this out with frozen pizza corner. Oh my God, pizza corner. I didn't try to say that. I just meant our new talk about pizza. You got me onto those Red Barons back in 2010. You were like, no, for the price. This is the best.
Yeah, for the price, it is the best.
Do you know why I quit? Do you know why I quit buying the Red Baron pizza? side-by-side fridge at my new place. Can't fit those boxes in there. It's too much.
Oh,
I can't have all that
true.
unnecessary cardboard. So now if I'm being cheap pizza guy, man, I'm all about the Roma pizza.
Okay.
Fits in my Breville toaster oven, my Breville Smart Oven that I bought also because of you. God, you cost me a lot of money, man. Did you? I mean, not just in Red Baron Pizza. Hey, let us know just for funsies. favorite frozen store pizza, and don't give us some bougie, gluten-free crust banana stuff. We want to know, before you had your gluten intolerance. What was the? So wait, are you claiming Red Baron as your favorite frozen pizza?
No, I'm not claiming it as my favorite frozen pizza, but I do think it is great for the price and very consistent. It's funny that you say that because my favorite frozen pizza right now
frozen pizza?
happens to be the gluten-free Freschetta pepperoni pizza. I don't have a gluten intolerance.
Denver bullshit.
No, however, that pizza, for frozen pizza, is so good. The crust is like chewy and delicious, and it's not like your typical prosciutto, which is more like in the DiGiorno realm of like huge bready, like crusty frozen pizzas.
Yeah.
It's more like your regular frozen pizza, like a Roma or like a Red Baron, but it's got this like great texture to it. I would buy it normally and it would be my favorite frozen pizza if it wasn't $10. I can get 2 Red Barons for that. Yet I'll order a pizza. I complain about it being $10, but I for some reason don't complain about ordering a pizza in for like $25 nowadays.
Yeah. Oh.
Which I don't do.
I will. I am a man who loves a lot of pizza. I love frozen pizza. I think it's all terrible. I don't think it's good. I like really good. There's really good pizza places here in town, but I don't know. Sometimes the comfort of a Totino's pizza for me.
Yeah.
I miss it being round. I miss it coming in a cardboard box because it's the perfect serving tray.
Yep.
You cut it and eat it off the cardboard box.
Yeah, the fact that it comes in a bag now is really an atrocity.
And it's square.
Yeah. Come on.
I mean, I guess the squares kind of work because in a way, you can equate it to like, well, I get more crust. Now, there's no crust on that pizza. Who are we kidding? But I love thin pizzas.
Mm-hmm.
Thin and crispy, man. That's where it's at. Less cheese, too.
God, a good
now
sauce ratio.
All right, I'm going to go think about maybe eating a pizza in the middle of the night, which I shouldn't do. It's not good for me.
It's not good for you, Bill. Just think about it.
I probably won't do it. Well, I'm just going to go back to work now for a while.
Okay.
All right, man. You have a great next day or so until I do this homework again.
It sounds good.
It'll be fine. It'll be fine. It's just this was a tough week, but thanks to everybody for listening.
Yeah, in the land of taking and killing.
What'd you say?
I said, in the land of taking and killing, Gaetono is king.
He's the man.
All
Sitting
right.
there with he's going to eat those olives and eventually the rats.
Goodbye.